Okay, so the community is starting to freak out about stuff like this. I was very, very excited when I heard about this because of the possibilities of it. In my React to SCL, people were confused clearly about what I was talking about versus what Torsten was talking about. So I want to make a dedicated video of talking about this. And if you could hear it in the background, I'm logged into EVE Online, and I'm going to kind of show what EVE Online does, because they do multiple forms of fast travel. Star Citizen already does a form of fast travel as well that is also used in EVE Online. So we can kind of explain a few of these things. Number one, probably let's try to avoid using the words fast travel. I just noticed myself using it, but they're, teleportation or something like that is a thing that can be used in some way, shape, or form, I guess. But let's hear what they say, because their words are the most important. I'll actually mute EVE Online while we listen to it, and
so we have
go from there.
Right now it's not signed off yet, so they are like,
number one, not signed off yet, so they should not be talking about this, but they did. Big mistake. It's going to be a whole thing in the community. Doesn't matter. Great opportunity to give feedback and good, bad, what we think about it, so on and so forth. If you hate this, you are totally fine to hate this,
because we have to fit this work into the theme of Star Citizen, and
this is important too. Well, it has to make sense for Star Citizen. We can't just be teleporting everywhere. So, I understand your concerns that this might be overused, something like that, whatever. The other thing that I want to say before he says anything else, I understand why everyone is so upset and hates this, because they know that it could probably be implemented well in some way. Probably. But CIG has never instilled the confidence in their community that they could. That's kind of the issue here. They've never instilled in their community a sense of confidence from us that if they have an idea that is kind of the antithesis of something that, described Star Citizen 14 years ago, then they immediately assume it's going to be done poorly, right? And they haven't really implemented anything amazingly fantastic yet. So they haven't given us a reason to feel that way. So if you think that this is horrible, I'm assuming you think it's horrible because you don't think they're going to implement it well, and that's totally understandable.
Like, if I phrase it now the way that I will phrase it, you understand why it is really hard to put it into the framing of what we sell as Star Citizen. It's the teleport to party leader.
So teleport to party leader. That's it. Nothing else. Teleport to party leader. Not all these other ideas that I said in the React video for SCL. Just teleport to party leader. And I think they mentioned like teleport to hangar or something like that.
Where we want to allow players to, in certain situations, be able to quick travel to your party group or your party hangar, and then be able to go on a mission. So we want to reduce the time for you to gather dramatically with this feature. But it's a bit challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they go off on all these other things, right? I went off on the ideas, some of them that are in EVE Online. But this is just the thing to get you to party. Now, this has to be in a couple of ways, right? One way is I am in a ship, like a single-seater, and I want to teleport to my leader, who might be in an Idris or something like that, or another single-seater. But that's where we're fighting. Now, what are the downsides that can happen here? Well, one thing is it goes both ways, right? You could be attacking a single player doing a 1v1, and then all of a sudden, all of his friends teleport, and there's 15 people there, and you die. That doesn't seem like a great experience, right? The other way around, I'm getting attacked, and I call in my friends, and I live. That sounds like a good experience and feels really good, but can be abused and things like that. If you're scared of something like that, that's totally understandable. We'll talk a little bit about the way EVE Online handles that, and people don't love it, I don't think, in all cases, and there are downsides in Eve. I think Eve does some things really, really well. This is not perfect. This is not perfect in any way. But there is balance associated with it. And there's cost and all these other things. And usually the cost is like, you need an entire another player or two to be able to do it. So that's number one. But just teleport to party leader. I'm assuming if they're not in combat, they'll have to not be in combat. They'll have to be in a, still state, something like that. Non-combat situation. Does anybody really have a problem with that? I don't think so. I don't think that's a huge deal. Is it only within the same system? Or can we literally skip jump points? That would be a little weird if we could, right? So there's a lot of concerns that people possibly could have. But I wanted to have the man speak first. And then let's show a few. Sorry, it might have been a little bit difficult to hear me. But I'll show you a few ways that it works in EVE Online. So here I am. I'm in 4TAC H. Up here, it'll say where I am. This is where I am. This is the fraternity, which is the name of the alliance that I'm in. This is our home system, right? But I have what's called a jump clone. So if I click my character sheet, very similar to Star Citizen, you're kind of a clone. You're not a human. You have a consciousness, and your consciousness goes into other bodies. The difference in EVE Online and in Star Citizen is your clones are stored in a location, and a new one is created when you die, similar to Star Citizen. But there's also these other ones that I can jump to. So, for example, I think this one might be... No, this is there's names for it. These are Titan clones and stuff. This one here might be a training one. This was a character that somebody from the Star Citizen community that was quitting EVE gave me, so I don't know much about this character, to be honest. But if I jump to this, it'll take me out of my ship, and I will teleport from... Let me try and zoom out. From way up here to way down here. Oh, actually, where did it take me? I am... Where's the forge? Domain, the forge. Boom. So it takes me down here. So now I'm here. Okay? But now look. The next time I can do that is 20 hours. 20 hours. Okay? That's the next time I can do that. Not very useful. And it leaves the old clone where I was. So if I destroy that one, and I can't install one here, so 1 second. Let me go. I'll take a shuttle. And I'll jump to a station where I can. I could get killed here because I'm at war. And then I lose that very, very expensive clone. Because it has all sorts of implants in it. Like all those little things that you see in there are implants that are really valuable. But if I jump to here where I'm jumping now, I could place a clone in this building. Not allowed to place it in the one that we were in. Okay. Can you spend resources to decrease that timer? I already have. You spend resources on skills in this game to decrease that timer. I think by default it is 24 hours. Okay, so I installed a clone here. I should have. Did it not let me? Do you authorize payment for 900,000 credits? Yes, I do. Oh, I did it twice. Whoops. That's okay. Wasted 900,000. No big deal. So now I jump to this. If I'm in the same station in this game, I can jump to it for free. The timer doesn't matter. So the reason I'm jumping to this empty one is I'm going to do this other form of fast travel that we know is already in Star Citizen. Right? Where's my home station? Oh, it's back where I just was. So I can skip that 20-hour timer by just dying. And now I'm all the way back there. No big deal, right? Now, let's take a look at this ship for a second. There is another form of fast travel here. Covert sinusoidal field generator. Let's show info on this. What does this thing do? Generates an undetectable sinusoidal field which only Black Ops jump drives can lock onto, and can only be fitted to these kinds of ships. So what this does is I am in a Black Ops ship and I can jump to that, or somebody else can jump me to it, right? So this is the example of somebody puts up a beacon, but they sit there and they're vulnerable for the entire time. And it could be up to 10 minutes or something like that in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Can't remember. Doesn't really matter. But the person who puts up the beacon, your ass is grass if somebody finds you. You're dead, right? So there's the negative there, is you're going to... And in this game, of course, you lose the ship, you lose your clone, you lose everything, right? So there's actual consequence there. So that's where some of the balance is. How will Star Citizen balance that kind of consequence? I don't know. Also, fuel is used in order to light that beacon. Fuel is used to jump to or send people to those things, because there's another ship that's really big. Let me type the name of it in. Roar Qual ship. There you go. So this is another example of a ship that can... This is a big mining ship. So instead of being an Orion that will just mine better than everyone else, this does things like it gives bonuses to a mining fleet, but it also can jump a mining fleet through it somewhere else. It could just teleport you somewhere else. And there's like a big bubble in where you can send people to within that bubble, right? So there's these forms of fast travel that in extremely dangerous space, like in Eve, you can kind of skip things, because what Eve has is a bunch of choke points that are jump gates, essentially the same kind of jump gates that we have in SC, except they're massive jump points. And yes, this can only be used in no security space. You cannot use these in high security space. So there's limits there as well. Low and null space, right? So there's limits there where, like, safe space, nobody can jump on you and be a dick, right? And use these big things. But again, you can kind of move people around in space that's really dangerous to be a little bit more safe. So there's all these like positive things that come with it, but also things being too safe in a game that's supposed to be dangerous. People get too comfortable, and when they die, they get upset and things like that, right? We see those problems with SC. So I just want to share some examples of what CIG is probably doing. It is way closer sounding to that clone thing than the sinusoidal field thing that I'm talking about, that I wouldn't mind seeing, because there's cool options with that, which are surprise, right? Surprise, you thought I was by myself, but I'm not. In both situations, like I'm attacking or I'm defending, that is an interesting gameplay thing, but needs to be really balanced. Probably won't work for Star Citizen, because imagine jumping in a bunch of ships all at once into one area. Everyone's computers would die. So that's probably not a good choice to do, right? But could be cool if they're capable of doing it. But again, it has to be balanced with somebody's got to sacrifice themselves potentially for that. Somebody's got to spend a lot of money in order to be able to do that, right? And if you do it too much and fail, there's consequences with that. So those are things where the balance can be okay. I would love to hear what your concerns are. Other things that it might be useful for in a positive way. I don't think the freaking out stuff is helpful. I understand where it comes from. Again, CIG has never given you a reason to believe that anything is going to be good, right? So there's in EVE Online, there's so many different fast travels. There's bridging, there's conduits, there's Sinovs, there's jump clones. There's all sorts of ways to I guess create some quality of life within a game that's very similar in travel time to Star Citizen, where it can be kind of annoying at times, but you have so many restrictions with that, right? But again, like I said earlier, this is not perfect. One of the biggest problems with EVE Online is something that Church typed in the chat, right? It's called like force projection, where groups that are really large are able to control way too much space because they're able to teleport to it way too easy, right? And it's not balanced in EVE Online right now. So if you have concerns with Star Citizen, and I'm sitting here talking about how great it is in EVE, it's not balanced in EVE either. Nothing's perfect. But what's the example that's given in SC? It sounds a lot more like a jump clone, which is, hey guys, we're fighting over here today. I know you live in Area 18, but we're over at Microtech. Why don't you jump over to us real quick, and we're going to go do some mining on a moon over there. Sounds good. Right? That part seems totally fine. Or, hey guys, I just got attacked over here. I need some help. All right, I'll jump to, I don't know, Baijini Point because you're getting attacked around Area 18. I'll go get my ship, and hopefully you're still alive. You won't be, but you know, maybe we'll finish off the fight there or something. That could be a thing. So like, try to think of a way where CIG can do it well, because I think you can probably tell that they mean well. I had a discussion with somebody earlier or late last night about this as well. Is they go, well, I like the travel times. I like that I have to walk through a city. It feels immersive. I don't want that taken away from me. Then don't use the fast travel stuff. Don't use it. Like the role player that wants to be immersed in this world is different than the player who might want to use these things. And these things existing in the game will not take away from your immersion if you allow yourself to be immersed. So I want you to understand that as well. So the sky is not falling because you don't necessarily have to take a tram. You could still take the tram if you want, right? This like gameplay being added to Star Citizen very rarely has an effect on the player who wants to be immersed in the world. So role player, you just chill and you just do that. You do your role play. You do your simmy stuff if you want. And the gamers will game, and everyone will likely be happy if we don't try to encroach on each other's gameplay too much, because they're two totally different things and they really don't affect each other. Now, the other thing is like CIG is getting way more gamey than they ever have before. If you don't like that, I understand. But this game stopped being a sim a long time ago because they realized sims have to be sims or they're bad. You either have to go all in or you got to be out. Right? You can't really do a sim and then do an MMO at the same time. Like, those just aren't things that are really possible. Arma's probably the closest thing, but that's not an MMO, right? These are just like small servers, 100 people, things like that. You can't. You gotta. If you're going down the sim niche, you got to go down the sim niche. So when CIG decided to not be a sim anymore exclusively, or stop using the word sim, things are going to get gamey. And these are the type of things that are going to come into the game. There are many things that CIG wants to do around insurance that are probably going to cause me to quit Star Citizen. If you feel like you're going to quit Star Citizen because of this, I get it, because you probably fell for the sim conversation many, many years ago. So CIG is having an identity crisis. Star Citizen is... it always has. Jared says it's the everything game. So it's the nothing game. right? So it's the nothing game because you have to choose. You can't be everything. You have to be something. You're either a sim, you're an MMO, you're all, you're this, you're that. It's all those things. What about insurance would make you quit? I want to craft things. I've talked about this a million times. I want to craft things. So if people are getting items back after they die, or things aren't being destroyed and they aren't constantly buying stuff from crafters, I'm just not going to feel satisfied by the game. It's what I've always wanted to do. And if NPCs are just who I'm selling to, I'm not interested in that. It's just not for me, and that's fine. I'm not going to cry about it necessarily. I'm going to fight for it, though. I'm going to fight for the person who wants to be a crafter until I'm done, until I can't fight anymore. So the economy needs gankers, and you need to loot stuff. Well, gankers, no. Gankers has like a really negative, like it's only piracy. If you're doing PvE content and you die, the chance that you lose stuff should be possible there as well. But again, that has to be done well and done balanced. But teleportation really seems a lot more like jump clones than anything else of what Torsten mentioned. Not sinos or conduits or jump bridges, which are all different versions of, hey, everybody collect around me, and then we teleport somewhere else. That's basically what happens in Eve. And again, that's called like forced projection. And that is both so fucking cool, but also not very well balanced in the game as well. So if you are concerned, I understand your concerns. I do think that there is a place for this in the game. Both the jump bridge thing and the kind of jump clone thing. I think there's a place for it, but it needs to be way more balanced. We should not, maybe you should need to be around the same planetary body to be able to do it in Star Citizen. Like limit the distance, all sorts of things like that. I think it's way healthier now that they're thinking about doing teleportation in Star Citizen to share your POV about what limitations should be placed on it, more than saying you shouldn't do it. And I think that's the healthy way of approaching the conversation. So the freakouts are always going to get ignored. The conversations about this will not, most likely. So fingers crossed, man. I hope they get it in some way. It's just really sad that there's no conversation around speeding up quantum travel significantly. I know we're getting crafting, but if we sped up quantum travel significantly, that would solve a lot of the problems too. And I hope they recognize that 10 minutes in quantum travel should never be a thing. I think the maximum time we should spend in quantum travel is 2 minutes, 3 maybe. I talked a lot about how I love jumping through a jump point. It's about 1.5 minutes of active travel versus many minutes of inactive travel with quantum travel, and how I have absolutely no problem doing a jump point over and over again, but I have so much hate for quantum travel in the game. There you go. So there's so many solutions to solve some of the problems that they have. Would love to see what they come up with. Would love to keep giving feedback on them, but I get it if you freak out, but try and remain calm and share what your concerns are in a constructive way, and hopefully it won't be too bad.